The American Dream Mall is the mall that took forever to become a reality, but it finally opened in October of 2019, and with that came the second Nickelodeon Universe theme park. The first Nickelodeon Universe theme park opened at Minnesota's Mall of America and has been wildly successful, so it's not a surprise the American Dream Mall, who is also owned by 555 Corporation like the Mall of America, tapped into the Nickelodeon IP yet again for their newest mega mall. But while the names are the same, pretty much everything else about the newer Nickelodeon Universe is different. In some ways it's a good thing, but in other ways it isn't, which I'll get into. I want to note that this review will assume that the park is operating outside of the temporary policies in place for the pandemic. If you're interested in the changes exclusive to 2020, please check out the separate video I made. The American Dream Mall is located in East Rutherford, New Jersey, adjacent to the Meadowlands Sports Complex. This mall is just 15 minutes from New York City, and it's easily accessible from public transit. So I have no doubt this mall and park will print money because of the opportunistic location near a huge metropolitan area. One of the most shocking things about New Jersey's Nickelodeon Universe is that you will eventually have to pay for parking. The mall has yet to charge for parking ever since opening, but the infrastructure is there to charge for parking, and the original daily rates were revealed to be $20 to $30. Most malls offer free parking. The only exceptions I can think of are in downtown major cities. Charging for parking isn't the best way for a mall to endear itself to its customers, but it's a necessary evil when you consider the American Dream's location by a public transportation hub and sports stadium. Otherwise, the American Dream's parking lot would be overwhelmed by commuters and arena parking. Now with regards to theme parks, it's nothing outside the ordinary to pay for parking. And the original plan was that Nickelodeon Universe would validate parking to $10, which isn't bad by theme park standards. One of the other biggest differences from the Minnesota location is that New Jersey's Nickelodeon Universe only offers a pay-one price option. That means there's no free admission or pay-per-ride option. I find that really strange considering this park is located in a mall. Almost every other theme park I know of in a mall, except for Ferrari World, tries to attract shoppers who may only want to spend an hour or two before continuing through the rest of the mall. With American Dream's Nickelodeon Universe, you need to go all in and purchase the $59 wristband. And while that figure may seem astronomical, you have to look at the area. Coney Island's Luna Park charges $70 to $80 for admission. Some of the seaside parks charge $10 per ride, or in the case of Morey's Piers, $70 for a wristband. The New York, New Jersey area is expensive. It's actually sort of funny to see that Six Flags Great Adventure may actually be the bargain option with its season pass. But that tangent aside, Nickelodeon Universe's price point fits within the region. Just make sure to check how long your wristband is good for. On busier days, Nickelodeon Universe splits the day into an early afternoon and evening time slot. This most often occurs on weekends and holidays, so not only do you have to cope with larger crowds on those days, but you also have less time to experience the park. It's a double whammy. For that reason, I strongly recommend visiting Nickelodeon Universe on a weekday, if at all possible. On the less crowded days, your ticket is good open to close. Now, there is one practice I need to bring up. Some tickets before the shutdown included wording that customers would have to pay the price difference if the price increased between the date they purchased their ticket and attended the park. This is why you used to have to pick up your wristband at the ticket booth as opposed to proceeding directly in the main entrance. I can't think of any other business with a price difference policy like that. I didn't see that on my ticket this visit, so hopefully that policy never returns, because it's really unfair to the consumer. One policy that is currently in place that I hope goes away is the lack of re-entry. Almost every American park allows you to come and go as often as you like. People most often do this if they want to run something to the car or grab something to eat. But for 2020, Nickelodeon Universe is forbidding re-entry. In my 2019 visit, Nickelodeon Universe did allow you to leave and re-enter, so I'm hoping this is just a temporary restriction related to COVID. And one of the biggest issues with this policy is with regards to food. Since Nickelodeon Universe is located in a mall, the park made a deliberate decision to forgo adding food stands. It makes sense really. There's already a plethora of food options in the food court of the mall. That's how it works in the Minnesota location. But for 2020, your only option for food at New Jersey's Nickelodeon Universe is the one small snack stand with some pre-packaged sandwiches and chips. New Jersey's Nickelodeon Universe's location is also one of the biggest differences from its Minnesota counterpart. While the Mall of America Nickelodeon Universe is located in the dead center of the mall, American Dream's Nickelodeon Universe is located in the back corner of the mall. And that's sort of disappointing because the park can't feed off the mall's kinetic energy in that location. It also creates a much different entry experience. Whereas the Mall of America's location has entrances on all sides, the American Dream's location has just one entrance and exit. But the reveal of the park is pretty cool. You enter the American Dream location on the second floor and take an escalator down to Nickelodeon Universe. And the whole time, all you can see is the twisted, tangled mess of Gerstlauer track and Shellraiser and Shredder. But then you may realize the park is sorta ugly. This Nickelodeon Universe feels like a warehouse. It's really dark inside and it just feels sorta cold. Only a small section of the roof has a skylight, so if you look up, you're mostly going to see piping, fans, and HVAC units. And there are hardly any windows either. You have the glass window by Sandy's Blasting Bronco, but it doesn't let much light into the park. Compare that to Minnesota's Nickelodeon Universe, where it feels like an outdoor park with its full skylight and trees. But at night, New Jersey uses its darker lighting to its advantage, by having multicolored spotlights flying around the park. Combined with the excellent lighting packages on their attractions, most notably the KCL packages on Shellraiser and Sandy's Blasting Bronco, the park's energy increases tenfold at night, and it feels like a concert. I also have to give the park credit for being very clean, and it probably helps that it's less than a year old. All the rides themselves look pretty good, most have great paint schemes, cool logos, and photo opportunities with characters out front. Nickelodeon Universe is just 8 acres in size, so the park can feel quite cramped. Not only are many of the rides right on top of each other, but it can be hard to get around the narrow pathways. My visit on a Thursday in October 2020 was deserted, but the walkways were really jammed up when I visited on a Saturday in December of 2019. In general, Nickelodeon Universe is laid out such that the rides become more intense as you go deeper into the park. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but that's how it worked out. You enter by the kids area. The middle section of the park has 2 family coasters in Shredder and Nickelodeon Slime Streak, and the back of the park has the Inverting Flats, the Skyline Scream Drop Tower, Timmy's Half Pipe Havoc, and Sandy's Blasting Bronco. The only ride that deviates from this is TMNT's Shellraiser. Shellraiser dominates the park's skyline, and as it stretches the whole length of the park. But the entrance is tucked in the back corner of the kids area. A lot of people seem to have problems finding the ride's main entrance. On my first visit, it was the only major ride without a queue line by midday, and the location may have contributed to it. Speaking of Shellraiser's entrance, I have to point out the weird queue line configurations at this park. Each attraction has 3 separate queue lines set up leading to the main entrance. I suspect one of them is supposed to be a skip the line option in the future, but I have no clue what the third option would be. I'd say it would be a single rider line for something like Shellraiser, but I can't see a single rider line working on something like Slime Streak. Does anyone know what the third line's for? I'm really curious. The staff working the rides is pretty good. Most crews are extremely efficient, dispatching trains quite quickly outside of Nickelodeon Slime Streak. Every coaster in Nickelodeon Universe has first come, first served seating, and most of the ride operators I interacted with seemed reserved, but they were quite friendly once you initiated a conversation with them. One of the ones at Shellraiser was actually a fellow enthusiast. However, I did not have the best experience with security in my first visit. Whenever I took a picture of a ride, a security member would approach me without fail and ask what I was doing. One even asked for my ID. Later that day, I was sitting on a park bench by myself, and a security guard asked why I was there alone. He again asked for my ID. It made me feel really uncomfortable. The security guards were friendly in their interactions, and I know they were just doing their jobs, but I felt very much like a criminal. I'm not sure if it was just because the mall was new combined with Christmas, but thankfully no one gave me any hassle on my most recent visit for visiting the park alone and taking pictures of the park's attractions. Now let's move on to the rides. The park is still fairly new, but I've encountered several closed rides in each of my visits. Fortunately, the park does have a park alerts page on their website that they update daily, and they're very transparent about what's open and what isn't. So definitely check if there's a ride you're most interested in going on before you get there. Since the park is relatively new, they don't yet have a refurbishment schedule listed, but I imagine they will start doing this in the future. Their sister park in Minnesota does, and it's an inevitability that rides will start closing for maintenance with 365-day operations. The park is currently home to 5 roller coasters, and it's a really unique lineup if you ask me. But if you want to ride any of these roller coasters, you will need to put your loose articles in a locker. The park offers free lockers for 1 hour at the entrance of each roller coaster. Just beware the late fees since it's $5 for every half hour you go over. There are bins in the ride platform for smaller articles like phones, but larger items should go in the lockers. Now, I did find some inconsistency operator to operator, as some allowed items to remain in zippered pockets, but I would just recommend using the free lockers if you're uncomfortable possibly having to place your articles on a ride platform. I also want to note that you will need glasses straps if you intend to wear eyewear in any of the park's coasters. Slime Streak is the one coaster at the park that does not have the best capacity. It's the park's top family coaster, and it's a glacial loader. The biggest reason for the latter is the restraints. This is one of the most restrictive coasters in the world if you're even the slightest bit tall. And that's a real shame because this is a neat family coaster. It's essentially a high-speed monorail giving an aerial tour of the park. It's this park's version of the Pepsi Orange Streak. The star coaster is TMNT Shellraiser, the Gerstlauer Eurofighter. This clone of Takabisha is an imposing coaster. This ride has a powerful launch and the world's steepest beyond vertical drop at a whopping 121.5 degrees. The coaster does have a bit of a rattle, but it's a really intense and disorienting coaster with all 7 of those inversions. Wrapped around Shellraiser is Shredder, the Gerstlauer Spinner. This coaster is the distinction as the world's tallest and longest free-spinning roller coaster. All the near misses with Shellraiser are fantastic, and an off-balance car can spin quite a bit. But this coaster had 2 flaws. One, all the brake runs really kill this coaster's speed and pacing. 2, this coaster also had a rattle, and this is a theme with Nickelodeon Universe. My favorite coaster at the park was actually the recently opened Sandy's Blasting Bronco. This intimate short loop coaster is an intense little ride. The ride may look straightforward, but has several tricks up its sleeve. The turntable is the most notable as you experience this coaster both forwards and backwards. And the launch took my breath away, especially in reverse. This is the most intense backwards launch in the world, and it's not even close. The ride's 3 implements also all feel remarkably different, switching from floaty to whippy. The only bummer with this ride is that it also has a bit of a rattle. The park also has another intimate launch coaster in Timmy's Half-Pipe Havoc. This is one of those intimate half-pipe coasters. I'm not the biggest fan of these rides, but the ride does come really close to the ceiling and it offers a good bit of weightlessness. One weird thing I noticed though is that the pink side was really inconsistent with its spinning. Sometimes it spun, but other times it stood perfectly still, so if you want to spin, I'd go on the green side just to be safe. From a flat ride perspective, the park has some top-notch thrill rides. The most imposing is Skyline Scream, the S&S combo tower built in a custom extension of the roof. This drop tower isn't the most forceful, in fact it's pretty tame, but the views in New York City are great since you rotate at the top. The best flat ride in my opinion is probably Crane Prime Pandemonium. This looping frisbee ride is manually controlled by the ride operator, and it delivers a ridiculously forceful experience. The downswings deliver leg-numbing positive Gs, and the inversions deliver wonderful hang time. Plus, you have all these near misses with the ceiling. It's really fun. If you love flipping upside down, you also have the Jimmy Neutron Atom Smasher, a chance unicoaster where you can control how many times you flip, Aang's Air Gliders, a Zamperla Air Race, and Invader Zim's Flip and Spin of Doom, the weird inverting bumper cars. However, the latter are extremely unreliable. The ride only ran for a week after the park opened and hasn't run since. Most recently, it was relocated to a new section of the park, so hopefully it can run consistently because it really looks unique. The park does have 3 noticeable gaps in its ride lineup though. 1, the lack of spinning rides. The park went all in on inverting flats, but they really don't have any spinning rides for adults outside of the SpongeBob Jellyfish Jam swing ride. 2, there are no water rides. Now I know this park is indoors, but the sister park in Minnesota has the incredible Log Chute Log Flume. 3, this park doesn't have a dark ride, and with the Nickelodeon IP, that's really disappointing. Yet again, the sister park in Minnesota has one of these dark rides in Ghost Blasters, while New Jersey does not. The New Jersey park has said they will be expanding and adding up to 8 rides in the near future, so hopefully some of these gaps can be addressed. I already saw a spinning balloon ride being added on my most recent visit. Now let's talk about the children's rides. This is a Nickelodeon theme park after all, and that IP is beloved by younger kids. The park has 8 rides specifically targeted for kids. Each of these rides has a height requirement of 36 inches, so just keep that in mind if you're coming with really young kids. Plus, you also have a giant Paw Patrol playground for them to run around in. And if the kids are 42 inches to 44 inches tall, they will be tall enough to ride the two family coasters in Nickelodeon, Slime Streak, and Shredder, and these are great for young riders building up to bigger thrills. The last attraction I want to bring up is the park's Colossal Ropes Course in the Legends of the Hidden Temple Challenge. These ropes courses usually are not included with admission, but this one remarkably is. It has a really low capacity, so make sure to hit this early in the day if you want to do it, but it's well worth experiencing. And I very well could have spent a few hours up there. This is the world's tallest ropes course at a whopping 9 stories tall, and you really feel that height because you stare down at Sandy's blasting Bronco on the top level. Plus, this one has some really unique obstacles that I hadn't seen before. Definitely do not miss this attraction. So that's an overview of Nickelodeon Universe and what it has to offer. And I know the big question is whether it's worth visiting. And I would say yes. Now that all the roller coasters are open and most of the adult rides are running consistently, definitely check it out. Sure, it's pricey, but all the amusement parks in the New York City metro area are. And this one is quite a bit different. It is indoors, and it has that unique coaster lineup. I would just be cognizant what day you visit on. Try to visit on a day when your ticket is good for the full day, so you can get your money's worth and aren't rushed through the park. So those are my thoughts on Nickelodeon Universe at the American Dream Mall in New Jersey. What are your thoughts on this new indoor amusement park? Have you been there? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate if you gave this video a like and consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more amusement park and roller coaster content here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.